All right, today's learning goal, the student will understand terms, coefficients, constants, and expand our knowledge on how to combine like terms. So some new kind of vocabulary that we use all the time. So these are kind of important. All right, so when you look at this first thing, if I say, how many terms does something have? Okay, there's the little picture. Every time it's separated there by adding or subtraction, that's another term. So right there I would say that is 3 terms. Okay, and if I'm talking about coefficients, which I've used this word a lot with you guys already, coefficient is whatever's connected to a variable. Okay, so if I'm looking at this right here, the coefficient of x is -5. The coefficient of y is 1 because it's the imaginary number. But there is not a coefficient of that because that's called something else. Okay, so 3 terms, and then we have coefficients. All right, so you're probably saying, well, what is that last one then? What do we call that thing? That last one is called a constant. Does anyone know why it's called a constant? Eric.
It stays that way no matter what the variables are.
Very good, because it doesn't have a variable with it, right? The reason we say variable is because the root word is vary, and that means it varies, it changes. That's what a variable is. But a constant means it has to stay that. So that's why we call that 2 a constant, because the 2 is not going to change. It doesn't have a variable connected to it. Okay, so once again, we have 3 terms. 3 terms. We have 1 constant, and coefficients are the things that are attached to a variable. So terms, coefficients, and constants. All right, so let's see if we can do some of this. All right, so I want you to go through here, and after what we just talked about, I want you to see if you can fill out this table. Okay, when we talk about coefficient, the coefficient is only the number in front of. So the coefficient here is just 12. And then our constant, what would our constant be? 3. It would be 3. Digits won't take it if you put in a -3. So just know that that's what it's trying to say there. All right, number of terms on the next one, that is correct. Your coefficients here, I'm going to tweak this a smidge. So this, okay, so we're just going to put in 0.2, that would be the first one. You can't put in y, but what's the coefficient of y? 1, so we're going to put 1, and then we're going to put the 8.1. Okay, and then constants, there are none here. There are no constants on this one. All right, and the next one, we've got 3 terms. Again, I'm going to erase these, so it is 6 and 9, and 7 is the constant. Very good. And number of terms on the last one's 1. Coefficient is, I think that's a 3 fourths, and there are no constants. Okay, questions on that part? That's pretty easy vocabulary stuff. All right. So based on that, go ahead and answer that question, and we'll be done with vocabulary. Okay, so 4 terms. All right, coefficients would be what? Carter?
6, 7, and 9.
6, 7, and 9. And our constant, Samantha? 4. Very good.
Is that front of the 6?
Do what? It's an arrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a Y.
It does. It's like a Y. I agree. It does. It does not make a very good arrow. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is where some of you started getting confused the last chapters when we started putting all of this together. All right, so let's look at number 1, and we're going to simplify each expression. There is nothing to distribute on number 1. It's just another way sometimes that they write it, but it would be perfectly the same thing if you just said this. There's truly no purpose to having the parentheses because nothing's touching the parentheses other than a plus sign. So we can just simply add our like terms together. So 2r and -5r would be -3r plus 7. And that's it. That's all I have to do there. Don't let all the extra parentheses throw you off. What do I need to do on number 3? Distribute. What do I have to distribute? The 4, right? 4? Okay, so on the first part, there's nothing that I really need for that, so I can leave that alone. So r plus 4. Now I'm going to distribute the 4. 4 times -3 would be -12r. And 4 and 11, I can make that -44. now I can combine my like terms. So the ones I can combine here are the r and the negative 12r. How much would that make? Negative 11r, good. Because I'm combining the things that are exactly the same. So I'm combining this and combining that. Negative 11r. And then I can put my numbers together. I have a positive 4 and a negative 44, which would make. So I could write minus 40. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, let me know. We're going to spend more time practicing this today to make sure you've got it. All right, next one, what do I have to do? Distribute, and I need to distribute the 5. So I'm going to take 5 times r, which is 5r, plus 5 times 1, which is 5, plus really there's no reason for this second one to have parentheses because there's nothing being distributed there. Now I can go ahead and combine like terms. So I have a 5r and an 8r. So 5 and 8 is going to be 13r. And then I can combine my 5 and 2 and make 7. Okay? All right, go ahead and work that next slide. And we'll make sure that you feel comfortable with that, and then we'll do some whiteboard practice. 2 would be the same, because even though it's written backwards, it would be the same. And 3 would be the same. And that looks like it. Questions on that?
Well, I got those two, but like for the last one, I got 14 plus negative 1.
Plus negative 1. Okay, let's make sure I didn't make a mistake. So I have my negative 1, 2t, and 3, 2t, and negative 6. And then if I start combining, these are my 2t and 2t. And then I have a negative 6 and negative 1, which would make negative 7 plus 3.
We didn't multiply the last one.
Oh, you forgot to multiply the last one?
Yeah, 2 times negative 3.
Yeah, that's a huge, that's like the #1 mistake, is forgetting to distribute them. Okay, any other questions on that before we start whiteboard practice? Okay, so when you go to the last slide, you'll see that